Today's tragedy, tomorrow's memory. The mixtape. The mixtape. The mixtape. Today's tragedy, tomorrow's... Why is it such a long and hectic title? Can I just ask that question? He said, don't get this wrong. This is a mixtape. The album is coming. This is the mixtape. You get me, bruv. This title, I'm telling you, it's dribbling people. Wherever you are, I know it's dribbled you. TTTM. Very theatrical title. I see why it ties into the rest of the album and the content of the album, and I'll get into that later. The artwork is freaking incredible. The artwork is so beautiful. I am not an art historian. I don't know the names of artists, so the loser in me, because the only person I can point of reference I have for that artwork is Basquiat. I think the point I'm trying to make with that is the fact that it's very artistic. It is not a graphic design is my passion type artwork. It is not someone who sat there and put a title on something and it literally looks like a work of art. It looks like something that someone would pay lots of money to buy on its own as a piece, which is really, really incredible. I'm struggling to find who the artist was, and if you guys know, please drop it in the comment. The artwork is the first thing you see, so it really sets the tone, and this one I think set the tone really well. The thing in the middle with the crown, also given the title, Today's Tragedy, Tomorrow's, gave me a bit of a Shakespearean feel there when you think of Shakespearean tragedies, and it's always royalty and death and these hectic stories, right? So I got that feel in there. Again, that's just me throwing it out there. No contextual understanding of anything at all. This is just what I've deduced from looking at it upon first glance. We opened the project and I think it's 13 tracks, if I'm not mistaken. I'm really happy with the amount of songs in the project because it is not too long. This is a mixtape. I think I should say that now, but I have a tendency of calling everything an album, so you'll forgive me if I call it an album by mistake later on in the review. But I know that I understand that this is a mixtape and I understand what that entails. Most albums and projects have a lot of songs in them and it gets very tiring for me. I do think A-Reece fans would have appreciated more songs, so I'm not gonna lie, because A-Reece fans, first of all, are diehard, cult type shit. I think they would have appreciated more music then, therefore, because they love him and they stan him. And he's a good artist and more music would have been fine. Also, they had waited a very long time from the last project, which I think was 2 years ago, to this project, so I get why more songs would not have been bad. But personally, me, I was very fine and content with 13 songs. I don't think any of the songs in there are a skip. I'm very happy with each song. I should mention that I am not an A-Reece stan. I have not come here with any prior knowledge or understanding or historical backing when it comes to his music. I listened to this project purely as an outsider looking in, trying to figure him out, trying to understand. So there may have been some contextual things that I miss and that I forget to mention in this review. Don't chew my head off. Literally put it in the comments. Let's chat about it. Let's disengage. You know what I mean? But I also think it's worth dissecting. It genuinely is such a good tape for as a tape on its own, without the context, even without the history, is so good and it's so pure. So the first song, Mark chapter 13, verse 20. verse 35. Ane. One moment. Hold on, let me find this little book. This little booky book, Mark. Basically, this story, upon reading it, chronicles the death of Jesus Christ. What happens when Jesus died. Sweetie, I don't know my Bible very well, so I'm not gonna sit here and read and try to dissect and unpack and the biblical word. But real quick, verse 35 specifically says, when some of those standing near heard this, they, with a loud cry, Jesus breathed his last. Very theatrical, very dramatic. I feel like I feel like the theatrics of this verse in particular, and this part of the Bible and the story, fits into the title, Today's Tragedy, Tomorrow's Memory. Jesus himself was a tragedy. What happened with Jesus back then was a tragedy, and today it is most definitely a memory that we personally don't have from lived experience, but it is quite literally a whole entire religion that people follow. It's probably one of the biggest and greatest examples of a tragedy that turned into a memory that we can think of is the death of Jesus Christ and what has come from it, religion wise and Christianity, etc., etc. So I thought that having that verse, first of all, as the title of your first song was very poignant, because it sort of ties into the title of your actual album. It set the tone for the rest of the album to be very somber, very soulful, and very heartfelt. He talks about the death of his brother who was shot. He talks about someone else who was also shot. So this whole idea of like gun violence and bloodshed is another thing that seems to be very like near and dear to his heart, that he has lots of experience with, and we get into it later on as well in the album, and I'll get to that. But yeah, I thought the intro was a very set the tone for the album in a very real way. He said, hey, today we're gonna cry, brother. If you thought you're here to play and to dance and to sing, turn around. This is not the album for that. This is not the project for that. It's not a mixtape for that. You know, like people who are complaining, yeah, but you can't listen to this in the club. You can't. Yeah, I feel like that first song tells you that straight up. And if you don't like it, leave. Yo, my shit don't feel the same with game body weight. Cause I was on a beef diet turning rappers to hibachi steak. That line, he's so funny. How funny is he? Oh my gosh. So in Hibachi Steak, he sort of obviously talks about the rap beefs that have happened in his life. But larger than that, he talks about the come up. He talks about the struggle, and the struggle that is still going on with him as a rapper, trying to make it in life as an artist. And I felt like this was really necessary because I think there are different levels to this shit. Like there's different levels to struggle within the industry itself, where he's struggling now because he left a record label, right? He left a record deal. I could be overthinking the whole record deal thing, but I think it's relevant because he even talks about it. Dotted line, contract, dotted line is about record labels and record deals and the sort of struggle that's around that. He also is rapping like rent is due, bro. Like he's rapping for his life in this song, bro. Like oh, that shit you talking, I'm a eradicate, but I'm gonna pay, never need, and I'm in a cake, you get me? Like he said, we are here for hip hop. He said, yeah, today it's a hip hop day. Today it's a rap day. You thought you was gonna dance today? Nigga again, we here to rap, rent is due, this is me showing you that I am the MC, please. That's what he said. And that's what he went on to do and to prove. And he did it impeccably and beautifully. The beat in the back also was like Jay-Z, you know, your standard like hip hopper. I'm gonna break the bank. Break it. Nobody. Okay, so let me tell you why I like 5-year plan. Because it sounds a little different to what we're used to. Definitely is one of the songs in this project that is not like the other songs. It's a little less pensive. It's less hip hop. It's got a more typical trap feel to it. You've got the trap beats in there. You've got some 808s in there. You've got a flute as well. Flutes are just like the girl for me. They are the girl. You've got a flute in there as well. You've got gang ad-libs. Like so many ad-libs. And you don't hear that a lot in the rest of this project. So 5-year plan was like took us a little bit away from the other song. Damn, life is a motherfucker. And the same thing happened to you. Wait, what does he say? Hold on. I don't want to see the same thing that happened to me happen to you. I don't know who he's necessarily talking to in this particular part of the song. Later on in the song, he says, can I call on you even though you're on the other side? I feel like he's talking to his brother in that song. There's lots of references to his brother and having lost his brother. I feel like he's lost other people as well in his life. I might be wrong. Like I said, I don't have all the context that I need. If you haven't, put it down in the comments. But yeah, so again, very vulnerable, very sad. Wears his heart on his sleeve, like I said earlier. Grief is a bitch, and I feel like a lot of the songs in this project is him working through his grief with us, which is another level of letting people in, and I respect it so much. I respect it so hectically. Yeah, This song is sad. Life is a motherfucker. I feel like it might bring healing to some people. Goes back to what he says about how he wants his music to save people's lives, and I genuinely think like he's on a healing mission, not just for himself, but for those who listen to his music in turn. I really respect it and I really appreciate it. We move to track number 5. There's my song. That's my favorite song on this project. And the favorite song on the project, let me tell you why. I ain't in the church, but she got the devil on her phone. Yeah, she ain't in the church, but she said she got the Bible on her phone. Listen, hey, 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 hey. This beats. Yeah. Track number 5 is my favorite song in the whole project. Wow, Nightmare on Bryanston Drive. Obviously a play on words, Nightmare on Elm Street. I haven't seen Nightmare on Elm Street, but I know it has a lot of cultural significance as a classic horror movie. Nightmare on Bryanston Drive is incredible. This is like this is the kind of music that I typically listen to, if you can't tell. So very rarely do I actually listen to like what's the word, like boom bappy rap. I don't tend to listen to a lot of that, but I get and I appreciate it. I also appreciate like lo-fi beats type rap, so your West Side Guns, your Freddie Gibbs's, you know, your Stogies, your whatever. I get it. I get the hype. I'm just not into it like that. But so anyway, so I feel like this song was like for the me's of the world who are listening to it because we appreciate this kind of music, but like we're also trying to bust it down low key, and like this song made me want to bust it down. It's not a club banger. It doesn't have to be a club banger though for you want to bust it down, and this song did that for me. It had like the best trap beats in it. So Nightmare on Bryanston Drive features, I will probably pronounce it incorrectly, I'm so sorry, Belu Salo. It features him, and oh my gosh, like just when you thought the song couldn't get better, right? Because it's already like I'm in the sign and just when you thought it couldn't get better, brother comes in with the soft, like angelic, melodic, like trap, like verse, like in his voice. I can't explain it. It's amazing. It's literally amazing. I'm in a sign in a moment. Something like that. You get me? Like, and it just takes the song to the top for me. It literally just takes the song to the top for me, and it's why the song becomes my favorite song. Because when you think it couldn't get better, it gets better. The end is really great because they sample a song by Lyra. Na 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 na. Yeah, so definitely resonates with the listener when you hear that part of the song. You're like, oh my god. We move on to Dichotomy. I think Dichotomy and the song that follows it are two very good examples of how much of a good storyteller this man is. He's 24 years old. He's telling stories that belong to people who in life generally have had like at least 30 years of life, truly and really, like for the most part. And he's 24 years, he's telling these stories. And I tried to go and trying to see like, okay, does he have any sort of experience, like first-hand experience with this sort of thing? I was trying to figure out if his parents are divorced with the first one, Dichotomy. I can't figure it out. I can't find the information on the internet. Please help me if you do know. But the way in which he tells the story of infidelity in marriage, and he tells the story of this woman who wants to leave her husband, fighting custody over children. Yo, man, there's so many things that he does where I'm like, whoa, dude, like, do you know what you're talking about? Because you sound like you know. It takes another level of maturity and artistry to be able to tell the story in the way in which he tells it, and the vigor and the believableness of it all. Like, you would literally think this man is speaking from lived experience, and maybe he is in one way, maybe he's a child. So I was trying to figure out, like, are his parents divorced? I do remember at the end of an interview with Paul Tusi, she asked him, what do you have to say to your parents? And he was sort of encouraging them, something like, hold on, no. So I was like, I don't know, maybe this is that, I don't know. So he talks about the struggles that come with marriage and breakups in the marriage and what happens to the family thereof when you split up, right, and how you parent your children, etc. And even depression, talks about popping pills that actually do nothing for you because you're so depressed. It's literally like he's sitting there as a woman who has left their husband and he's telling you the story. It is beyond me. He tells the story beautifully, and he sort of alludes to how this man wasn't, you know, committed infidelity and never stopped and that kind of thing. So he drags this man, like he drags him in the song. Turn around, next song, he's dragging a hand. So I was like, okay, you said there's gonna be balance in this project. You said there's gonna be balance in this project because track number 6, you dragging this nigga for being, you know, infidelity, right? Track number 7, you dragging this hand because, this man is grafting every day, trying to pay his kids' school fees. This girlie is off trying to find, you know, sugar daddy. And that don't sit right with you, and you finna drag her. And that's what he did with the second song. So it's like, okay. I was so happy just now because we were dragging men. I'm not here for dragging women, personally. Like, only men deserve to get dragged in my world, in my opinion. Sorry. Anyway... Anyway, track number 7 is also really good. Shape Jealous Down. It speaks again to how good he is as a storyteller, because now he's telling a different story, completely different story to the one in the back, like the opposite story of the one in the previous song, and he tells it so well too. And I'm just like, yeah, goated. What I also like about No Man's Land is the beat switch, because when the beat switches in this song, he moves to a completely, you would think this is so unrelated, like how we even talk about this right now in the same song, but like, damn, it's hectic, and this is him speaking completely from experience, as someone who has witnessed gun violence, as someone who has lost people to gun violence. He talks about gun violence and blood and murder, and literally like, he paints a very gory picture of like life for him, that has, like, what life has been for him and that sort of thing. It's extremely dark, it's extremely like scary and like morbid even, and the way that the beat switches, because the first part of the song sounds like it's a really good beat, it's really nice, but it's mellow, it's calm to some extent, definitely compared to the second part of the song where the beat is like, it's a hard beat. And yeah, it reflects in the themes as well, that he talks about violence, theft, murder, death, blood, etc. I've said it once, I'll say it again. It reflects how good of an artist he is at invoking several emotions in the same song, using both the instrumentation in the song but also his storytelling and the way that he raps. Really, really talented. So I'm gonna skim past Jimmy's interlude, but Jimmy's interlude is also good. Talks about loss and grief again in that very sad, very somber song. I want to get into Residual Self-Image. Residual Self-Image actually dropped last year. That was a single. I really like the song, particularly because I feel like it's very introspective. There's a part in the song where, around 3 minutes 10 seconds, I'll play the snippet if I have the time, of Morpheus in the Matrix.
Is it really so hard to believe? Your clothes are different, the plugs in your arms and head are gone. Your hair has changed. Your appearance now is what we call residual self-image. It is the mental projection of your digital self.
This isn't real.
What is real?
It felt very philosophical, very like, what is the meaning of life? Who are you? What even are you? This guy's questioning himself, like, at the end, like, what is going on here, right? That's what happened in the Matrix. At some point also, there's lots of braggadocio raps in there, which is nice to hear, because of how much this nigga has struggled in life, clearly, from this project. It's nice to hear him every so often to flex, yeah. Now, so there's a little bit of braggadocio raps in there, and I mean, that's always cute. That's always nice to have. You know, you're still a young person, A-Reece. You know, umtwana. Morning Peace and Bravo take it to a different level because it becomes more celebratory. I think that's the word. It becomes more celebratory. Morning Peace is it's like a fanfare that you're listening to. It's very like Nigga, we done made it. He's talking about his girlfriend, I think, in the song. Very good, positive, good energy vibes. Like, life is good, my niggas. Bravo is literally called Bravo. The song involves a lot of congratulations as well as Stogie T's in Bravo. And I think if it's well, I think those two on a song together is NB, because like it's like father and son type shit. They deserve each other. So those two songs were really good. The latter half of the album in general for me was good, but I think my favorite songs are probably in the first 6 songs. So Dichotomy, Hibachi, and Nightmare on Bryanston Drive. Everything else is also really cool, but I'm not feeling it like those 3 songs. And then after Bravo and Morning Peace, we get Over Me, which takes it back to a low tempo vibe. Very cool. Yeah, I think that, no shame. The last few songs didn't do very much for me. Dotted Lines was amazing. My friend pointed out to me that like he likes the sound of the trumpet. Like you can literally pick out the trumpet in that song, and I hear that. And I think that is cool. I really enjoyed the content as well, because he speaks a little bit more about record labels and being an independent artist and how difficult it is, but at the same time how difficult it is having your art being controlled by somebody else, having your money be controlled by somebody else, like you making money for someone else, how they trap you in these things by signing on the dotted line, and now you're gone, and they take advantage of your hopelessness or your hopefulness, actually, in many instances where you feel like this is my break and they're gonna help me so much, and they take advantage of that. I think that's a thing that happens a lot in the industry, is artists who come from really tough backgrounds, who come from like homelessness, or who come from having taken care of so many people. So yeah, overall the themes we find in this project are loss, lots of religion, lots of grief, little bit of like happy vibes, celebration vibes, but it feels very mature, and it feels at the same time very much like I'm far from where I want to be. I think by the time you're done listening to project, you're sitting there like, phew, that was a lot. Thank you, A-Reece, for being so vulnerable. Thank you for sharing so much with us. Thank you for being so honest and being so real. I've heard other people talk about it, and them saying that they feel like they're tired of this version of A-Reece. They want something different. Someone also talking about how like, A-Reece doesn't like speak to South Africa, where's the South African flair, etc, etc, etc. But I'm tired of asking artists to speak to the countries that they come from, because what does that even mean? What is South African? What is African? You know what I mean? Like, just do you. A lot of the times the influences also that artists listen to have in their lives reflect in the music and the art that they produce thereof. I think in whatever ways that A-Reece can incorporate South Africa, he does. Maybe there are other ways, but like for the most part, I'm really not angry. There's one song where there's an interlude, I think. Oh, at the very beginning, the first song, someone says something in Spitori. There's another song where they speak full on Spitori. Another song where he talks about coming from the place with the jacaranda trees, etc, etc. So it's not like he's completely neglected his South African roots and he's looking elsewhere. There are people in the country who will listen to that project and not be mad at that. It's like, you guys want him to go dance on a piano, then you'll be happy. Let this man rap the way that he wants to rap. If it's not for you, it's not for you. It's for somebody else. Sorry, I'm ranting because this story really annoys me. Same thing happens to Nasty C a lot. What is South African? Nasty C went and gave you Zulu Man with some power. Did you see how shit that was? That was him trying to speak to a South African audience. What even does that mean? What does it even mean, guys? Can you go back to your drawing boards? Think of different critiques to give our rappers and artists in this country and on this continent. In conclusion, A-Reece dropped a beautiful album in today's tragedy, tomorrow's memory, the mixtape. How do I rate this project? I want to... Like, the only reason I'm not going to give it a 10 out of 10 is because it's not my style. Like, it's not the kind of music that I tend to listen to. So, personally, in terms of my enjoyment of it, I appreciate it and I respect it, but I'm not going to say I didn't enjoy it because I did enjoy it, but it's not something, like... Do you understand what I mean? It's just not my style. And I think that's a good enough reason. So, I'm going to give it a 9. I look forward to the ensuing project, Paradise 2. And look forward to everything else that he's going to give us. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. Please like, please comment, please share, please subscribe to Pell Reviews. And until next time, peace out.